Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu wasallam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd, we are continuing our readings and our contemplations upon and within the work that is entitled Qasas al-Anbiya, that is entitled The Stories of the Prophets, as has been authored by Abdul Fida Ismail ibn Kathir. May Allah the Exalted bestow expansive mercy upon his soul as he passes in the year 774 in al-Hijri. And we have entered into the story of Musa alayhi salam, the story of Moses alayhi salam, and we have entered into his adulthood, we have entered into his marriage, and we are crossing the threshold of prophethood at present. Allah has stated in the chapter in Naml, and place your hand in your armpit or your pocket. It will come out shining white without any stains or disease. Among 9 signs to Pharaoh and his people, indeed they are a wicked people. This means that these are 2 signs from the 9 signs which Musa alayhi salam was given. As Allah said in another place, those are the 2 proofs from your Lord to Pharaoh and his chiefs, for indeed they are a wicked people. The 2 signs referred to are in addition to the 7 extra, thus totaling 9 signs, as is indicated in the chapter El Isra, and we gave Musa 9 clear signs. So ask the children of Israel when Musa came to them, and Pharaoh said to him, I think you are enchanted. He said, indeed, you know that none sent these down except the Lord of the heavens and the earth as clear proof. And I think you, O Pharaoh, to be destroyed. All these 9 signs are detailed in the chapter Al-A'raf. And verily, we seized Pharaoh's people with years of scarcity and diminution of fruit, that they might be mindful. So when good came to them, they said, this is our due. But if evil afflicted them, they would ascribe it to Musa and those with him, whereas their misfortune was in the hand of Allah, but most of them do not know. And they said, whatever signs you may bring to us to enchant us, we will not believe in you. So we let loose upon them the flood, the locusts, the lice, the frogs, and the blood as clear signs, but they were arrogant and were a sinful people. However, it should be noted that these 9 signs are different from the 10 Commandments. The 9 signs refer to the decree, the miracles, whereas the 10 Commandments refer to the specific laws given to the Israelites. They are not the same as some people have said. When Allah commanded Musa alayhi salam to go to Fir'aun, to go to Pharaoh, he said, my Lord, I have killed one of them, and I fear that they will kill me. And my brother Harun, Aaron, is more eloquent in speech than I. So send him with me, so he may support me. Verily, I fear they will belie me. He said, Allah, we will certainly strengthen your arm with your brother, and we shall give you both such an authority that they will not be able to harm you. So by our signs, Allah's signs, you and whoever follows you shall be the victors. Promise from Allah. In these verses, Allah informs us how Musa alayhi salam reacted when told of his mission. He spelled out his fear and mentioned to him what he had done in the past, that he had killed a Coptic before, and thus if he returns, they might take revenge for that and kill him. My Lord, I have killed one of them, and I fear that they will kill me. And my brother Harun, Aaron, is more eloquent in speech than I. So send him with me so that he may support me. Jazakallah khairan. Verily, I fear they will belie me. What this shows is that Musa alayhi salam asked Allah to appoint his brother Harun alayhi salam as his helper and minister. who will help him to convey the message, since his brother was more eloquent in speech. Allah said in his response to what Musa sought, "We will certainly strengthen your arm with your brother, and we shall give you both such an authority that they will not be able to harm you. So by our signs of Allah, you and whoever follows you shall be the victors," meaning that no harm or disliked thing will happen to you as a result of you carrying out our order, the order of Allah. Allah said in the chapter Taha, "Go to Fir'aun, Pharaoh, for he is an insolent tyrant. He said, O my Lord, expand for me my breast and make my task easier for me and remove the impediment from my speech so that they may understand what I say." Hassan al-Basri said that the messengers only ask Allah according to their need. This is why some impediment remained. For this reason, when Musa alayhi salam went to Pharaoh, he denounced him as being unclear and said, "And who can scarcely express himself clearly?" Prophet Musa alayhi salam further asked, "And appoint for me a minister from my family, Harun, Aaron, my brother. Strengthen me through him and make him share my task so that we glorify you frequently and remember you frequently." Remember Allah, glorify Allah. "Verily, you are all seeing of us." He said, Allah, "Verily, you are granted your request, O Musa. That is, we have answered all your requests," meaning Allah, "and given you everything you had sought. All this was due to the rank which Musa alayhi salam held before Allah. He asked Allah to make his brother Harun a prophet alayhi salam, and he was given what he asked, as Allah said about him. And he was honorable before Allah. And he, the glorious, also said, "And out of our mercy, we gave him his brother Harun as a prophet." There was an incident with the mother of the believers, Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, heard a man saying to people while on their way to Hajj, the major pilgrimage, "Has any brother trusted his brother?" Upon hearing that, the people were silent. Aisha said to those who were around her, "Hodaj, the thing placed on a camel to carry and screen a woman from others." So Aisha, she said to those who were around her, "Hodaj," or the screen, right? The screen, if you like, or the caravan that the camel carries. He was Musa ibn Imran when he interceded to Allah to make his brother Harun a messenger. And thus Allah answered his request. Allah the Glorious said, "And we gave him out of our mercy his brother Harun as a prophet." Allah said in the chapter Ash-Shu'ara, "And when your Lord called to Musa, go to the transgressing people, the people of Pharaoh, that they might fear Allah, he said, My Lord, I fear that they will belie me, and my breast will be narrowed, and my tongue will be tied. So send Harun with me as a prophet, and they have a charge against me. So I fear that they might kill me." He said, Allah, "No, indeed, go, both of you, with our signs. We will be with you listening. So go to Pharaoh and say, we are the messengers of the Lord of the worlds. Send the children of Israel with us." He said, Pharaoh, "Did we not raise you among us as a child, and you stayed among us for many years of your life? And then you did that deed which you did, and you are of the ungrateful." Thus Musa and Harun alayhim salam went to Pharaoh and conveyed to him what they were sent with, which was to invite him to the worship of Allah alone, who does not have any partner. He also ordered him to release the children of Israel so that they may worship Allah. However, Pharaoh became arrogant and said to Musa alayhi salam in order to degrade him and demean him, "Did we not raise you up among us as a child, and you stayed among us for many years of your life, and then you did that deed which you did, and you are of the ungrateful? That is, are you not the one who we raised in our household, and we were good and graceful to you? And you killed the person. Thus you ran away from us and denied our grace upon you. This shows that this Pharaoh was the same Pharaoh who Musa alayhi salam fled. The version mentioned in the Bible is contradictory to this, since it says in it that the Pharaoh Musa fled from died when he was in Midian, and that the Pharaoh he was sent to as a prophet was another Pharaoh. The reply given by Musa alayhi salam to him for this was, I did it then when I was in error. Then I fled from you when I feared you. But my Lord gave me wisdom and made me one of the messengers. Then he replied to Pharaoh for showing his favor upon him and raising him up, saying, and that favor with which you reproach me is that you have enslaved the children of Israel. Allah the Glorious said, Fir'aun asked Pharaoh, and who is the Lord of the worlds? He replied, Musa, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them, if you could have a firm belief. He said to those around him, did you hear that? He said, Musa, your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers. Pharaoh said, verily your messenger who has been sent to you is insane. Musa said, the Lord of the east and the west, and what is between them, if you have understanding. Allah the Glorious mentioned in these verses the argument and debate that occurred between Musa alayhi salam and Pharaoh, along with the evidences he presented to prove that God exists. This was because Pharaoh, may Allah curse him, had denied the very existence of the Creator. And in fact, he claimed that for himself. Allah the Glorious said, then he gathered his people and called out, saying, I am your Lord Most High. And Pharaoh said, Pharaoh, O chiefs, I do not know of any God for you but myself. Even though Pharaoh denied the existence of the Creator, he knew very well that he was a mere servant and that Allah is the Creator and the one who shaped all things and the true God, as Allah informs us. And they denied them, meaning the signs, wrongfully and out of pride, even though their souls acknowledged them. So see what was the end of those who acted corruptly. It was for this reason that Pharaoh rejected the message which Musa brought and said there was no Lord other than him. He said, and who is the Lord of the worlds? This was his reply when the two messengers, Musa and his brother Harun, alayhim salam, said to him, we are the messengers of the Lord of the worlds. Musa answered by saying, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them, if you could have a firm belief. What he meant was, he is the Lord of the worlds, and the creator of the heavens and the earth, and all that is in between these two, such as clouds, rain, vegetation, animals, and the wind. Everyone knows that these things do not come into existence by themselves, and as such, there has to be a creator, and that creator is Allah, besides whom there is no God worthy of worship. Pharaoh then wanted to degrade and demean Musa alayhi salam, so he turned toward his ministers, dignitaries, and other people in his court and said to them, did you hear that? At that, Musa alayhi salam said, your Lord and the Lord of your forefathers. That is, Allah is the one who created you, and also your forefathers. Each one of you knows that they did not create themselves. Rather, a creator has created them, who is the creator of everything and everyone. All these arguments could not make Pharaoh come to his senses. He persisted in his rebellion and disbelief. Allah quoted him as saying, verily your messenger who's been sent to you is insane. He said, Musa, the Lord of the east and the west and what is between them, if you have understanding, meaning that he is the one who subjected all these stars in the sky, created light and darkness, the Lord of the earth and the heavens, the Lord of the past and the present, the Lord of the sun and the moon. Then when Pharaoh, became cornered by all the evidences which Musa alayhi salam provided, he changed his tone and started using his authority and power to compel Musa by saying, "If you take a god other than me, I will surely imprison you." He said, Musa, "Even if I bring you clear proof?" He said, Pharaoh, "Then bring it, if you are among the truthful." So he threw down his staff, and it became a serpent. And he drew out his hand, and it was shining white for the onlookers. These were two signs which Allah helped Musa with. Or these are two signs in which Allah helped Musa. The first was the staff, and the second was the miracle of the hand. Both of these great miracles dazzled the eyes and the minds. It is said that Pharaoh became very fearful upon seeing these signs, so much so that he suffered from diarrhea. He started going to the toilet 40 times a day, whereas before this, he used to go to the toilet once in every 40 days. Despite all this, Pharaoh did not benefit anything nor change his way. He persisted in transgression and disbelief and claimed that all these miracles, which Musa alayhi salam had showed, were nothing but magic. He then decided to counter this with the magic of the sorcerers and sent for all magicians in his kingdom to come to him. We will mention the details of this in its appropriate place. Allah stated in the chapter of Taha, "And when you stayed with the people of Midian for many years, then you came here, O Musa, as decreed, and I chose you for my message. Go, you and your brother, with my signs, and do not slacken in my remembrance. Go, both of you, to Pharaoh, for he is an insolent tyrant. Then speak to him gently, so that he may be mindful, or maybe he might fear." Both said, "Our Lord, we fear that he may exceed in insolence against us." He said, Allah, "Do not fear, for I am with you. I hear and see." In these verses, Allah mentions what he said to Musa on the night when he spoke to him. What Allah said was, "I was watching you when you were in Pharaoh's palace. Even then, you were under my protection and guardianship. Then I took you out from Egypt to the land of Midian, according to what I had decreed and planned. Then you stayed there for some years. Then you came here, O Musa, as decreed. Id est, meaning everything occurred according to my plan, and with my help, I chose you for my message, Allah. Go, you and your brother, with my signs, and do not slacken in my remembrance. That is, when you go to Pharaoh, do not forget my remembrance, since it will help you when speaking to him and delivering your message." Then Allah the Glorious said, "Go you both to Pharaoh, for he is an insolent tyrant. Then speak to him gently, so that he may be mindful, or maybe he might fear." And we're going to pause here just ever so briefly to highlight that amongst humanity, we do not know of a lower quality human being from the perspective of one's soul outward than Pharaoh. And even with this, Allah ordered Musa and Harun to go to him in kindness and speak to him gently, and to give him the reminder to acknowledge and respect him and to invite him to Islam. This makes us think how much more so for those that are not from the worst of humanity like Pharaoh. How much more so for those who are amongst the Muslims. How much more so for those who are amongst the righteous. This shows Allah's mercy and forbearance with his servants. He ordered this even though he knew that Pharaoh would disbelieve, show arrogance and pride, In fact, Pharaoh was the worst of Allah's creation at that time, and he sent to him the best of his creation of that time. He advised them to address Pharaoh with gentleness and kindness, so that he may remember or fear Allah. This is similar to that which Allah advised his prophet, saying, invite all the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and reason with them in ways that are best and most gracious. And and do not dispute with the people of earlier scriptures, except in a good manner, except with those of them who do wrong. Both said, our Lord, we fear that he may exceed in insolence against us. They said this because Pharaoh was a brutal dictator who extended his authority all over Egypt with his large army and police. So, as humans feel, they too felt frightened that he might transgress against them. So Allah strengthened them by saying, fear not, for I am with you. I hear and see. In another verse, he said, we will be with you hearing. And this shows that fear is of different types. There is a fear that is the natural fear that a human being may experience, fearing some possible reality, as is the case here. But then there is another type of fear, and that fear, it is an act of worship of the heart. And it is to fear Allah in that which only he should be feared. It is to fear the punishment of Allah in that which only he can punish you. Allah the Glorious said, so go you both to Fir'aun, to Pharaoh, and say, we are messengers of your Lord. Therefore send the children of Israel with us, and do not punish them. We have come to you with a sign from your Lord, and peace be upon all those who follow guidance. Verily, it has been revealed to us that the punishment will befall one who belies and turns away. Allah mentioned in these verses that he ordered both of them to go to Pharaoh and invite him to the worship of Allah alone, who does not have any partner. They also had to order him to free the children of Israel from captivity and subservience. We have come to you with a sign from your Lord. This sign was the clear evidence in the miracles of the staff and the hand. They further warned Pharaoh of the consequences of rejecting by saying, verily, it has been revealed to us that the punishment will befall one who belies and turns away. That is, one who belies the truth with his heart and turns away from acting upon it with his deeds. Allah the Glorious said, he said, Pharaoh, and who is your Lord, O Musa? He said, our Lord is he who created everything and then guided it. He said, Pharaoh, so what about the former generations? He said, the knowledge of them is with my Lord in a book. My Lord never errs nor forgets. The one who has made for you the earth as cradle and inserted roads for you therein and sent down water from the sky. Thereby we brought forth pairs of plants, each separate from the other. Eat and pasture your cattle. Verily, in this are signs for those who possess reason. Out of the earth we created you, and we will return you to it, and from it we will bring you forth a second time. Allah the Glorious informs us that Pharaoh rejected the notion of a creator, saying, and who is your Lord, O Musa? Musa alayhi salam, he replied that he is the one who created all the creatures and decreed for them their actions, their provisions, their ages, and wrote all this in the book. Then he guided Al-Lawh Mahfuz, the preserved tablet. Then he guided every creature to what he had written for it. So a human's actions are in accordance with what has been written. This is similar to what is in another verse. Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High, the one who creates in due proportion and order, the one who measured and granted guidance. Pharaoh replied, so what about the former generations? He said that if the situation is as you have mentioned, that Allah is the creator and the one who guides his creation, then why did the previous generations worship gods other than him? They associated with him stars and idols about which you know. So why is it that those generations did not receive this guidance? Musa alayhi salam replied, the knowledge of them is with my Lord in a book. My Lord never errs nor forgets. In a book, again, al-Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet. That is, whatever they did is not evidence for you, nor does it go against what I tell you. This is because they were ignorant, just like you. In everything they did and said, whether big or small, all of that is written in the book. Based on this, they will be treated accordingly by Allah in the hereafter, and He is unjust to no one. Then Musa reminded Pharaoh of the greatness of power of Allah, and that He created the earth as a bed for us and the sky as a roof over us. He said, eat and pasture your cattle. Verily, in this are signs for those who possess reason. The All High, He stated in Al-Baqarah, O people, worship your Lord who created you and those before you, that you may be of the pious. The one who has made the earth your couch, and the heavens an edifice, and sent down water from the sky, and He brought forth with it fruits for your sustenance. So do not join equals with Allah when you know the truth. After mentioning the earth being brought back to life with rain and how the vegetation came from it, Allah draws our attention to the resurrection by saying, out of the earth we created you. We will return you to it, and from it we will bring you forth a second time. He, the glorious, stated in another verse, in another place, such as He created you in the beginning, so will you return. And He states, it is He who begins the creation, then repeats it, and for Him it is easy. To Him belongs the loftiest similitude in the heavens and the earth. He is exalted in might, full of wisdom. And with this we conclude, inshallah ta'ala, هذا وله أعلم وصلى الله على محمد.